And so that's why I keep telling people that I'm an absolute fraud. There's a saying that, 9 out of 10 people love chocolates and the 10th person is lying. Social media, you tend to eat through your eyes first nowadays. I mean, like I said, I had no option. Nobody wanted me. Nobody was hiring me.
It feels like cocoa can be the next gold.
100%. I mean, global domination is the plan. There's no two ways about it. My perception of money has completely changed when I started seeing more as an instrument, more as a tool, rather than a necessity.
To explain this to a person who just values price over quality, I don't think we'll ever be able to explain it.
It's more expensive than gold at this point,
Hello and welcome to Century Conversations. My name is Yogesh. Today I'm joined by Mr. Ashwin Nayanar, who went from being an architect to being the big daddy of chocolates in UAE. In this episode, we cover how he managed to get Vocca into Emirates First Class and on Noon platforms, how the sudden surge in his net worth changed his perception on money. We also uncover how global commodity prices affect startups in the country. Watch this episode to the end because this is going to be a one tasty experience for you. Mr. Ashwin, thank you so much for coming and welcome to this podcast. I'm really excited to have you. And I told you that while I was coming back, my wife told me that do not come empty-handed. So I hope that this conversation is not only informative, but also very tasteful as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Absolute pleasure.
So it's a very interesting story, Mr. Ashwin. We have read in so many podcasts, we have seen so many blogs we have read about you. Obviously, your chocolates are more popular than your story, and that is why we want you to just share a little bit for our first-time viewers who know your chocolates, but they don't know, Mr. Ashwin, that how it all started.
Of course. So, thank you firstly for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be with Century Financials. I'm the co-founder of Woka, and Woka is nothing more than a UAE homegrown artisanal premium chocolate brand, and where we're all about innovating and, of course, making sure we have a blast with your palate as well.
Perfect. And it is chocolate at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And there are so many other chocolate brands. There is Parle-G, there's got Pricier, and then now there is Vocca. How it all started? How did you think? Because I checked your history, and you were, if I'm not wrong, you were an architect.
Yes,
right?
Correct.
From an architect to somebody who is now one of the best chocolate makers, if I can say, with revolutionary flavors. Why the switch, and how the switch?
With Vocca, what we're trying to do is build a community. Like you rightly mentioned, we have a lot of brands in the region.
Correct.
And a lot of great legacy brands as well.
Yeah.
But we often see that what happens is that once a brand becomes big, they often tend not to reinvent the wheel. They're stable. So of course, and they're big in their own right.
Yeah.
What we are trying to do is, we're trying to have fun with the flavors. We keep making sure that innovation is a big part of who we are. And that's why we have a lot of wide array of, flavors, like be it your Pistachio Oman Chips, be it your Parle-G Biscoff, and of course your, Kunafa Pistachio. Beyond that, beyond building a community and beyond building Vocca as an innovation hub for chocolates, my main switch happened because of a big uncertainty that happened in 2018, which was when I lost my job.
Okay.
And when I did that, out of a need for survival is when I started looking out for other pastures or better opportunities. And from 2018 onwards, we were looking out on how I could survive in this region, because being born and raised here, this is completely unexpected, to lose your job. And we've just heard this on papers, or we've heard instances of people going through this, but when it happens to you, it's like a punch in your gut. So out of a need for necessity, me and my partner, we set up with a small agency, and that agency, of course, doing a whole lot of other things. Gifting was also one vertical that we were focusing on.
Right.
And from there, we snowballed, and we have Vocca.
You're saying 2018, when you lost your job, you decided to begin a business, a venture.
Yeah.
Normally, when something like this would happen, people would try to save on their savings. But what I hear is that Vocca was a bootstrap startup.
Absolutely.
Which means you put your own money.
Absolutely.
No other investors or so.
I mean, like I said, I had no option. Nobody wanted me. Nobody was hiring me. So I had sent out probably about 250 applications or so to get back into the architecture space.
And nobody got back.
And nobody got back. At that point also, the projects were also kind of on the down low, unlike today what you see. And that also became a bigger problem for me. And we had no option. Like I said, we were just looking out to survive. And that's when we started to bootstrap a business. Woka happened much later, post the agency. When the agency stratosphere started getting highly competitive, we were also looking to diversify our business. So from an advertising agency, then it became a gifting company. And from a gifting company, we started our own chocolate brand in 2001.
But when it comes to chocolates, so there has to be somebody. Were you fond of chocolates back when you were a child?
I mean, there's a saying that 9 out of 10 people love chocolates, and the 10th person is lying. So I mean,
everybody
doesn't
loves
love
chocolates,
right? So food in itself is an emotion, and chocolate is the icing on the cake, almost quite literally. Of course, we always wanted to, we always had a passion for food. Like I assume that out of 7 people in a room, 6 would want to start a cafe or a restaurant of their own, right?
Yes.
So that is an emotion that is there. So of course, I was fond of chocolates, but never in my wildest dreams did I think that I'll turn out to be a chocolatier or build a chocolate brand for that instance. So that's why I keep telling people that I'm an absolute fraud. I have no background in F&B whatsoever, and whatever we have done or learned is completely out of passion, and I'm proud that we are here where we are.
That's very interesting because Vocca is a premium luxury chocolate brand now. But when you started this off, did you really think that this is going to be a luxury brand? Because and when did you really think that it has become a luxury brand? What was that moment when you realized that this is something which is becoming much more bigger than what you thought?
Well, instances like where we managed to get in through Emirates First Class, where we have orders from the royal families, especially within the local area. So we are located, our factory or our HQ is based out of Ajman. And out of there, we started seeing a demand. And that's when we started spreading out slowly. And one of the reasons why we started out in Ajman is so that we don't burn our hands in Dubai. But at the same space, we wanted to learn the business too. And being in Ajman, of course, we made sure that, our top line was a bit more modest at that point. That being said, when we started off, I had a very dear friend of mine who was the head of pastry at Address Hotels. So he was the one who initially helped us or guided us, showing the do's and the don'ts, and how to differentiate the right from the wrong, especially in the chocolate space. So I mean, having the right companionship can also do wonders, and it's not necessarily that you need to know each and everything before starting off.
But it's really important to even go further so deep in that space.
100%.
And something which was very new for you. How did you come up with these revolutionary flavors? Parle-G, and now Big Daddy is something which has gone really viral. The pistachio kunafa, something which became the identity of Dubai. We saw in TikTok so many celebrities been trying these kind of flavors. Where the idea comes from? Like Parle-G is so nostalgic for me. I mean, any kid around 90s, you would know what Parle-G is, and then bringing that to life and combining it with chocolate. How and from where you got this idea?
There are a couple of things. One is, like you said, the nostalgic aspect is there. So almost everyone within the team, be it a partner or an R&D chef or the entire team, we almost have a very childlike nature. So we are very, very playful when it comes to creating new flavors. We come up with the most craziest or the childlike aspirations when we come out with things like that. That's why even the pistachio Oman chips also came out, right?
Pistachio Oman chips.
Exactly. So the thing is, we just play with it. We throw in ideas, and of course, the most important aspect is that we have an amazing set of chefs in house that brings our childlike flavors to fruition. So we throw in ideas out there, and then our team makes sure that it becomes more palatable, and it's just not a mere gimmick. So
to be very honest with you, I have not tried your pistachio Oman chips.
I would love for you to try.
I was yesterday walking around, and there was a colleague of mine, and she was eating Nutella chocolates, the chocolate cream. She's dipping chips in it and eating it. And I saw her, I'm like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
She's like, no, you haven't tasted yet. It's amazing. So what you created I did not know that people love the idea of chips and chocolate together.
Sweet and savory goes well
Yes.
hand in hand.
And that was something and that's again, because I was in that zone that I had to meet you and talk to you, and I was looking at how there are so many different ways where we can present these kind of flavors.
Yeah.
I think also in UAE, because there are different cultures and there are different nationalities and so many different diversities, do you feel that your experiments somehow it just works because there are so many people with different tastes?
I love that. You know what? That's predominantly the reason why people are more accepting towards our brand.
Right.
Because like you said, no, it's not like a one size fits all, especially in a place like Dubai or UAE, right?
Yeah.
It's a melting pot of cultures. So people love different textures, different blasts of flavors, and most importantly, they're open to trying out other culture flavors as well. You know, as a South Indian, I'm open to trying a Filipino cuisine. A Filipino is open to trying an Arabic cuisine. So we're all kind of, rubbing shoulders against each other. And that is one of our, I think, mantras also, just to have a lot of fun. And especially in this region, unlike, let's say, European countries are a bit more, modest. The flavors are more simpler.
Yeah.
But here, they love a lot happening in their mouths.
Very nice. Is this the same reason? Because everybody has recognized this so much.
Yeah.
The Noon partnership happened.
Yeah.
And was that something which you expected? How you and Noon collaborated together?
I mean, there's a lot of things that people do factor in business, but one thing that often gets overlooked is luck, right? I think luck plays a big role. It might get you the foot through the door, but of course, the hard work is what gets you there, what keeps you there, right? So of course, I mean, we were lucky enough to have a meeting or a partnership with Noon, but of course, it's also because of our resilience and the kind of work we put in that has maintained all this while.
I think it's being very humble of you to say this is luck, but I'm sure that there has been a lot of work.
Of course, I mean, the thing is, like I said, there are multiple players in the market. But the kind of turnaround time, the kind of work we put in to come out with new flavors, I think we have a launch almost every 3 weeks. Every 2 to 3 weeks, we have a new flavor that's coming out under the Big Daddy on Noon. And I don't think that anyone else will do that, because as a manufacturer, it's very painful to keep coming out with new flavors, changing up your production lines to do this just to cater to an aggregator or a partner. But that's what we're all about. We love to take that pain, because when you take that pain, you get the slice of the market share.
How did the idea of Big Daddy evolve? This was something which was out of the box.
Yeah.
You could not expect this happening, and you come up with an idea and it goes so viral that now, I mean, in spite of the fact that you have done some really great work, Woka is known for Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And that is something which has been talked a lot about. Whose idea was it? Was that your idea, or there were more people?
It was more of it's a shared IP, right? So we were just throwing out ideas. But the most important conversation is how can we get people to talk about the chocolate, right? Especially social media, you tend to eat through your eyes first nowadays. And you need a topic of discussion first. Only then people will cater to your product. So the first initiative that we took was to make sure that, be it a naming or be it the kind of flavors we use, we need to make sure that people talk about us. And that's when the inception of Big Daddy happened. And with Noon, the great thing about Noon is they're amazing. They've got amazing distribution, right?
Very, very big.
Yeah. So, combined with our quality and combining with their distribution, I think it was meant to happen.
So I'm sure sales must have increased, and with that, your net worth must have increased. If you compare yourself back in 2018 and before that, and now Woka is such a great success.
Yeah.
Obviously, the cash flow is much different than it was before 2018.
Yeah.
Do you see a change in yourself about managing your personal finances now? Because now, obviously, you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Your income levels before you were working and now must have changed for good.
Yeah.
So, do you feel that your investment habits or saving habits have changed? Are you taking more risk? Are you investing more? Or are you just reinvesting more into Woka and trying to...
So I'll take that into two parts. So one is the risk levels have always been high for us.
Okay.
And we're not going to stop there, right? So it's been about 4.5 years now. And we are still betting on ourselves absolutely on a high level, even now, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that's also kind of given us that kind of edge. because we take a lot of high risk. And of course, there have been multiple times you've failed as well.
Yeah.
Because this is my third venture, and the other two have failed miserably.
Okay.
But that being said, that didn't make me stop, because that kind of learning I got is immense, and I wouldn't change a thing. So definitely, we are still taking high risk. And secondly, in terms of money or how my perception has changed, is that the way I see money has changed. Of course, earlier back in the day when we were living paycheck to paycheck, for me, money was a big priority, or that was a sole purpose. But now how we see money is just as a mere instrument that kind of fuels us, right? And just because an X is expensive, we don't back down. Earlier, of course, we used to, but now what we look at is the ROI that we tend to generate from it.
Right.
So if we see that, okay, this can bring in 3x of what we pump in, so then even if we don't have money, we ensure that we'll try and raise that money to ensure that we get that ROI.
So as an entrepreneur, you are also open to invest into real estate or different startups or ventures? Or majority of them you want to put back into your business and try to grow it? Because I think that's a very important question a lot of people would have in mind.
Of course.
That how entrepreneurs invest. Do they invest all their money which they get in their own business and just build up a brand? Or you also as an entrepreneur invest into real estate, stocks, bonds, commodities, try to take advantage of it?
I mean, it depends on how old or young your company is, right? In the early stages, of course, investing back into the company is more important. But once you see that growth, it's also important that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification is very important. So I would say from last year onwards, I've also made a very conscious effort to diversify, our revenue, whatever money is coming in. So real estate has been something under our radar. So from last year onwards, we have made conscious effort to diversify into the real estate space. And moving forward, of course, the goal is to also, support and invest in other small startups that we see potential in, because we know that if we had gotten that kind of support in the earlier days, we would have been so grateful.
Absolutely.
But we want to make sure that we create that path. So be it in the confectionery space or otherwise, if we see potential, we definitely want to be a part of that journey as well.
Definitely, and I think that's a very good thinking. You invest in real estate, you don't invest in Hershey's stock.
Of course, funds is something else, markets is something else that I personally do. Hershey's is definitely a big part.
Joking,
a lot of Indian markets do quite well as well. So definitely, I mean, like I said, diversification is very important, be it on a personal level or a business level.
Very nice. What is the most important thing required to make a chocolate? What is that raw material? It's cocoa?
100%.
And if we have seen in last few days, the prices of cocoa have started surging due to, what we have read is below average rainfall in parts of Ghana and Costa del Rio, but these are one of the leading suppliers. Have you faced any kind of supply constraint in the cocoa yet? Do you think it's going to affect the price?
Insanely. I mean, it's a great question. So cocoa has been our boon and bane, it has been our blessing and at the same time, at times, curse as well. The reason why I'm saying is because, this has been happening for almost a year and a half. And especially when the demand for chocolates has been on the rise, especially the last year, you must have seen the kind of trend that has been going on for Dubai chocolate. So that means there's a huge demand, especially within this region alone. But the supply of cocoa has going down immensely. That means that the price has gone up, which of course in turn has cost us also to, we can't obviously offload the cost on the customer at all times, right? So we have been taking a hit majorly in the past couple of months. But the most important aspect is that we educate the customers, right? And we don't take them for granted. And like we have seen, like the same platform, let's say, for example, Noon, since we're talking about that, the same platform that sells chocolate, they sell a chocolate for 5 dirhams and they sell a chocolate for 40 dirhams, let's say our product, right? But we still see a huge uptake for our chocolates. That's predominantly because we have educated the customer on the type of ingredients we use, the quality of products, the packaging, the storytelling, the effort, all of that, right? And still the customer is willing to pay. So it's of course raw materials will increase. There's no two ways about it. But if you convey and if you create a transparency, I'm sure your customers will love it and they'll go for it irrespective of the price.
But is there a way you have found out to invest in cocoa because the prices are going up?
Yeah, so what we're doing is that not invest in cocoa, but we've been trying to get it straight from the source.
Okay.
So in the earlier days, because of a consumption where we're smaller,
Yeah.
of course, there were a lot of middlemen involved.
Of course.
But as we're scaling up, we are into the process of bean to bar, where we source the bean directly and then we create the entire bar in-house completely. So now we have changed that up. Of course, that helps a little. But I don't see that increase of cocoa prices slowing anytime soon.
Okay, so that was actually my next question, that it is expected that for at least the next few months we might see a surge in the prices. But do you feel that the prices of cocoa is going to come down a little bit?
Of course, not down. It might get stable after a while, but never the price is what we've seen 2 years back.
Yeah. I think it's a very different.
It's it's more expensive than gold at this point. Getting a container of cocoa. So I would say that I forecast that in a span of 10, 20, 30 years, the commodity of cocoa is going to be like a fine dining experience. Having a real chocolate or artisanal chocolate is equal or on par to you going to a 7-star and having a fine dining experience. But I feel there are still people who do that. There's still people who kind of spend money for that. And that's predominantly because of the quality of storytelling and the transparency. So if you're putting out something there on a premium level, it's very important that you communicate the effort that goes into it so people know what they're buying into.
The way you say it feels like cocoa can be the next gold.
100%. I mean, for us, that's how it is. We feel as if that's how the price, seeing the prices going, the uptick. We feel that's how the market is going.
Such an advantage in talking to you, because cocoa is something which is available as a commodity for a lot of investors to buy and sell, and agricultural commodities a lot of times are overlooked because it does not have that daily trading swings which investors love to speculate.
Absolutely.
But with you giving insights about how important cocoa can be, I think it just opens a lot of investment avenues for the investors 100%. Also to look into it. Now, that being said, since the prices of chocolates go up, and of course with the experience, especially after the Dubai chocolate became so viral and then again Big Daddy, don't you face similar versions of your chocolates being sold at a cheaper price by other companies?
Absolutely.
How do you face that part? Because I'm sure I have seen similar packaging, but it's not the same product. It's something else, and I think a lot of people face that issue. How do you cope up with that?
I think I would say that it's a lot of flattery as well, seeing people replicate similar products. But apart from that, like I said, people nowadays are well aware of what they're buying into. Right, they understand that that chocolate is coming at a cost. So our chocolates can be categorized into real chocolate and compound chocolate. And these compound chocolates, what you see in the market, contain palm oil and vegetable fats.
Okay.
And that's why those are cheaper, though your mass-produced chocolates. Like I said, it's about just educating the consumer about what you're buying into. So, like you said, for any product that has a hype or a attention or an uptick, will definitely have its cheaper or more degraded version of itself. I think there's something that you can't avoid, and that's just the basic economics of things. So
it's really important to tell the people about quality versus the price.
Yes.
I think somewhere it really happens. People would see chocolate as a chocolate. Not everybody would appreciate, as you rightly said, that something which has been distributed in Emirates First Class, that itself is a luxury.
Exactly.
To explain this to a person who just values price over quality, I don't think we'll ever be able to explain it to someone. But how do you, so when you say about educating people about this experience, how do you normally communicate that to a common, simple person who would want to buy a Vocca chocolate? Of course, it's a premium luxury. It's a very different experience. From packaging to distribution, it really tells a story. How would you educate this idea, this experience to somebody who's okay to pay that price and love this?
So, a couple of things. One, that's why I have also built out my platform, my page. It's basically, I want to give a voice or put a face to the brand.
Yes.
Because people connect with people. People buy from people, right? It's no longer the case where you can just build a brand and not have a face and you think that you can't survive, especially in this day and age. So having my face out there or putting my face out there creates the accountability factor. They know that, okay, if I have this product and something goes wrong, I know I can catch Ashwin's collar and kind of shake him up. That's number one. And number two, through my page, I also tend to show the behind the scenes, the team, the kind of the packaging that we do, the quality we use. So definitely communicating that through storytelling is very important. So we tend not to dilute, let's say, the main platforms page. Instead, I tend to take it on the side. But it can be done effectively on the page of the brand as well.
I was reading one of your blogs actually on the page, which talked was very informative about how packaging is one of the most important things, because the first thing which you see when you see a box of chocolates is it's the packaging. The way it is being wrapped, the quality and the taste, it gives the person an idea that what I'm going to eat. And since you're talking about packaging, I've seen that you have taken a lot of initiatives about being your packaging more sustainable to the environment. Is this something you're doing because it's more trending here in UAE, or was this this was from the beginning of when Vocca started?
No, sustainability is definitely very important for us. It's also because I would say that when you look at long term, going sustainable tends to be cheaper, at least for us. Why? Because there's less wastage. Using less plastic means you involve a lot of paper into the equation, and paper over time we have seen that doing our forecasting that it does also come out to be cheaper. And at the same time, if you want to build a brand and if you want to work with other brands, of course having a similar mindset is important, right? So if I'm someone who tends to go against sustainability, then I won't be able to work with a brand, let's say like Emirates or even the hotels or the larger groups within.
So it's a very common vision in UAE to keep things sustainable.
So
it does not come at an added expense. You said that it's cheaper to go sustainable. I always thought that a lot of companies would not adopt sustainability because it would come across a bit more expensive.
I mean, of course, when you look at short-term goals, definitely it comes out to be expensive. But we have forecasted, when we see long-term, we have seen in multiple instances that it has come out to be much far cheaper. So when I say cheaper, or when I'm talking about the
more
cost,
effective,
it's not just from a directly money perspective, but also on how people perceive your brand as well. It gets very put off by people. So in terms of customer acquisition itself, sustainability plays a big role.
And I think, and you really feel that as the years pass by, sustainability is not just going to be a trend or an option, it's going to be a necessity.
Of course
also.
not. I mean, people really analyze and judge these things before even interacting, be it just buying a coffee or even, ordering a bowl of or a lunch, They see the kind of cutlery used, the base, the product, or how it's packaged. So, and they perceive the product through that. The first impression matters a lot.
I think it's really important. I wanted to ask you that how Vocca is different from Gotpia and Parle-G and other premium brands. But you're also telling me that you take out time to communicate and educate the consumers that how this works. So you're creating content on Instagram and you're trying to educate them. How are you able to balance this out? Because content generation, it's not easy.
No, it's painful.
It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of pain. And the reason why we are doing this on a Saturday, because my team wanted to utilize the next week in editing and doing the best out of this. As a full-time entrepreneur and as a content maker, how easy it is to juggle around? And I mean, this is a personal question, but would you be able to still give time to your family and do things which you always wanted to do?
I mean, it's just being smart with your time, like how we're doing this on a weekend. I tend to shoot all my content, let's say early in the morning, get up at 7 a.m. I mean, shoot at 7 a.m. on a Saturday and Sunday, and I shoot all my content for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I forget about it.
So you're working every day?
Of course.
There's no holiday.
You tend to, right? You're always on as an entrepreneur. So
that's very nice.
That's what I make use of that time. And then because I've got real work to do as well, apart from content. So I do my content early in the day, batch for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Of course, I have a support of the editor. So they edit out. So I can completely focus on my day job for the next 2 to 3 weeks and forget about it.
So I really want to ask this question because you were an architect before. Is there a skill which you learned as an architect which has helped you in doing what you're doing right
Oh
now?
yes, I love this. The packaging, the designs, the marketing,
Wow.
the final detail, all of that comes from all of the skill set. Yeah. So
It is so amazing
down to a T. Yeah.
that you learn this skill,
Yeah.
and now you have used being an architect, you have
Yeah.
used those skills to create packaging for Vocca, which is again very revolutionary, and
Yeah.
it presents your product as a premium luxury product.
So as an architect, you tend to have this a little bit of OCD as well, because
Yeah.
we deal with lines all the time.
Yeah.
So that kind of the perfectionism and minimalism and making sure we have this clean lines and making sure everything's in place, the symmetry. So all of that has helped me in envisioning how the brand should look, feel in the hands of a consumer. So
Yeah.
I would, I'm actually really glad that architecture
Feels like it's meant to be. Like architecture was
Always,
the first step
always.
for you to build something
Yeah.
this bigger.
Yeah.
And so you have kids?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm a child myself. So
Okay. But whenever that happens, do you really feel that education at this point of time? Because you being an entrepreneur, why I'm asking this question, a lot of people are very afraid to invest in themselves.
yeah.
Go out there and establish a brand. And as we talked in the beginning, that
Yeah.
how Vocca was a bootstrap startup.
Yep.
You invest all your savings, everything you had in it. Of course, it was a major risk.
Yeah.
It worked out wonderfully. But I'm sure the early days of Vocca would not have been that easy
Never.
the way we see now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of your hard work. Do you really feel that there is something which we can change while we're educating our children? Give them those skills which are actually required to become brave and bold and go out there.
Yeah.
And if you want to give one advice to a person who's really scared, he wants to start something,
Yeah.
he knows he has the skill, is just afraid to invest in himself.
I would suggest that to build a support system, what gets often overlooked is the people around you, right? Because it can get absolutely lonely when you take up this path.
That's right.
And the most underrated thing is the support system. So let's say, be it your wife, be it your friends, be it your families, having the right support system around you can give you that kind of mental stability, because everything else is pure chaos, right? So, but after you come back after the chaos, you would want to put, your head over someone's shoulder, you want to talk to someone. So having that support system is absolutely key. And if you think you have that support system, then nothing else can stop you from building whatever you want.
Well, we're very glad that you have. And this is for everyone out there who feels that they need that support.
Yeah.
I think a lot of faith you need to put in yourself and your skills and go out there.
Yeah.
So what's next for Vocca? Because I know that UAE is madly in love with this brand, with this product.
Yeah.
Is this something which is going to be a UAE special?
Yeah.
Is this something which you're expecting to expand to different countries?
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, how would you invest in that? What's the plan?
I mean, global domination is the plan. There's no two ways about it. But honestly speaking, UAE has set a benchmark, not for itself, but for the people living in it, the businesses that has come out of it. And UAE has this infectious energy of just growing and not stopping, right?
Yeah.
And that has kind of rubbed off on us as well, and especially being born and raised here, we have seen the kind of exponential growth that UAE has brought forward.
Very nice.
So we're just having that same kind of vision as well, So coming out of UAE, very proud to represent the brand as a UAE homegrown brand. And we have seen that going in other parts of the world that has immense value. So what in the next couple of years, we're looking to spread across India, UAE and US and Europe as well.
Wow.
And this is what we have in the pipeline. And we never know, we're looking at setting up routes in other parts of the world. And we have very interesting projects that's coming up as well. We've just set up our latest factory, a state-of-the-art facility as well. And from there, we're looking to reach to multiple paths. We have slowly started entering the Saudi space.
Wow.
India has been, a key, vision for us. So that is going to happen by end of the year. We are also penetrating UK as we speak at this point. So there's a lot happening. And we are very, very excited.
And this is all in the area of chocolates, or you're thinking of diversifying into something else as well?
I mean, as of now, it's chocolates, because I feel that as an entrepreneur, when you see growth, you of course, feel like you want to kind of spread out your wings and fly everywhere. But it's very important to have laser sharp focus and vision. That kind of vision is very important, to not to go astray. And you focus on one thing and you do that goddamn right. Trust me, that's going to take you to bigger and better heights.
When you sit there, you say it with so much conviction.
Yeah.
And I know it is easier said than done.
Yeah.
And you have done both.
Yeah.
You're saying it now, but you have done it before.
I've done in field as well.
You have done it in the field. So that is it's really good to see that kind of confidence, because the youth today, they really want somebody to be there and tell them that, see, it's okay if you want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I know that there are a lot of startups which are happening, even here, even in India.
Yeah.
But a very few of them actually become successful. And there are various reasons behind it.
Yeah.
Could be a product, could be an absence of expertise, or maybe sometimes the funds are not available. Lastly, I would love to keep you here for the entire day. But one thing which we have to really ask, when it comes to finance, which is one lesson life taught you that an MBA degree wouldn't?
It's that we never, not to be a slave to money. Like I said, my perception of money has completely changed when I started seeing more as an instrument, more as a tool rather than a necessity,
Right.
So see money as a tool, see money as an instrument, and trust me, that is going to take you to bigger and farther heights than anything else.
Perfect. That's a wonderful advice, and thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ashwin.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Wonderful time. We covered so many things about being an entrepreneur, hardships, how do you educate your client, and most importantly, how you create an experience. Investing into different ideas, looking business from so many perspectives. And most importantly, your journey from an architect to an entrepreneur who now sells one of the most premium and branded chocolates. Thank you so much for spreading that joy, and thank you so much for sharing your insights.
I'm glad.
And Mr. Ashwin here, and thank you so much for listening us. We'll see you next week with a different gentleman with a different personality and with a very different idea. My name is Yogesh, and we'll see you next week.